Hey, what's up everybody, and welcome back to another episode of News Dose, where I give you all of the latest gaming news, and it's officially July. We do have some good games to look forward to this month, including Ghost of Tsushima and Paper Mario, but also we have a big month for Xbox. And I guess it's just been one of those weeks where Xbox has a lot to talk about, and I think some of the information going around is actually controlled leaks. But now we are finally getting some details on that big Xbox Series X event later this month, which includes a date. They also have a very unique and interesting idea to engage the community even more with their event, so we're going to talk about that. Also, they announced the first wave of Xbox Game Pass games for the month of July, so don't go anywhere because we will talk about that as well. Of course though, as usual, we do have plenty more to talk about as I do cover the entire game industry and not just Xbox, so let's get right into it. So the Crysis Remastered trailer was supposed to go up today, but the thing is, it actually leaked online yesterday, and I'm not going to post any of the leaked gameplay footage on my channel, so what you're seeing here on screen is actually footage of the original game. What I will say though is that a lot of fans were disappointed by the way it looks, and in fact, fans were so disappointed that the developers decided that they are now going to delay Crysis Remastered to better assure it meets fan standards to what Crysis is meant to be. You have to remember that this franchise is well known to be a technical masterpiece. It was visually stunning when it originally released, and even to this day it holds up very well from a graphical standpoint. So it looks like the developer is going back to the drawing board to improve this aspect of the game. Crysis Remastered was originally planned to release on July 23rd, but now there is no official release date with this delay. With that said, one takeaway from the footage that I saw was that the Nintendo Switch version looked, pretty okay. It's hard for me to believe that the Switch is actually running Crysis, because if you told me 10 years ago that Crysis would be on a Nintendo console, I would not have believed you. Now to be fair, it obviously was not the best looking version of Crysis, but it appeared to have run pretty well, and it should immediately be one of the best first-person shooters on the Switch. So hopefully this delay won't take them too long. Moving on though, here is a really weird news piece. You know that big game developed by Amazon Studios, Crucible? Yeah, so it released, I want to say a couple of months ago as a free-to-play competitive shooter, and fans have just not bought into this game at all. I'm hearing it's been practically dead on arrival. There are just not many people who is playing this game, and that's really rough for a multiplayer-centric game. Now the thing is, this was supposed to be Amazon's big game, but with the lack of success they're having has to be absolutely discouraging. Well, it doesn't sound like they're giving up on Crucible just yet, but it however is going back into beta. Not just a beta though, but a closed beta. That is one of the weirdest releases I've ever heard of, and in fact, I don't think I've ever heard of a game completely releasing to the public and then months later kind of being like, okay, oops, we're going to go backwards and put this into a closed beta. That type of stuff just does not happen and kind of speaks to the catastrophic failure that this game has been so far. Now, if you do like this game though, don't worry, if you have already downloaded it, you will have access to the closed beta. And hey, hopefully Amazon actually does fix the problems with Crucible, and when it fully releases yet again, maybe they will have more success this time around. I do wish them the best, and for any fan of Crucible, I'm rooting for you. I really do want people to enjoy this game like they enjoy any other game. In other news, we have a few review topics for Sony. We do now know when Ghost of Tsushima reviews will go live, as the review embargo ends on July 14th. Now, Ghost does release on July 17th, so we will have access to the reviews 3 days ahead of time, which is always a really good sign. This usually does mean that the publisher has confidence in the product, and I do think that Ghost looks really good. It reminds me a lot of Assassin's Creed, and that's a good compliment. Assassin's Creed is a great franchise, so hopefully Ghost of Tsushima is as well. I will ask you though, if you were to predict a Metacritic average review score, what do you think Ghost of Tsushima will get? I think it will be somewhere in the mid-80s myself, but what about you? Let me know in the comments below. Now, since we are on the topic of reviews, something really interesting got posted yesterday about The Last of Us Part 2, and truthfully, Naughty Dog and The Last of Us just cannot stay away from controversy. See, the thing is, there has been a lot of speculation surrounding the review scores for this game, and much of the community is kind of questioning the legitimacy, and well, Sony did not really help that situation at all. So what happened was that Polygon was apparently a little bit more critical of The Last of Us Part 2 than some other news outlets, though they didn't actually give it a final score. But then Sony's PR called Polygon after the review and started asking questions about their criticism. From my understanding, this is not common practice for a publisher to call a reviewer after a review just to ask about their critical takes. Now, this probably doesn't mean anything, but because of all the controversy surrounding this game, it's of course going to be magnified, and it draws more questions from fans. It's certainly not a good look for Sony or Naughty Dog, and they probably shouldn't have called about the review, but maybe they're just trying to figure out ways that they can improve with their next game. It's really hard to say, but either way, so far The Last of Us Part 2 has been a major success financially, so I'm sure Sony is very happy with that. Let's move on over to Xbox though, because yeah, this is a big month for Xbox, and arguably the most important month for Xbox in years. That is because they are set to reveal the Xbox Series X game lineup this month, and they started off the month in a big way with several announcements. First up, we do have a date for the big Xbox Series X event, and multiple insiders and outlets are reporting that it will take place on July 23rd. Both Jeff Grubb and the Video Game Chronicles are reporting the same date, but we also got an official announcement for an Xbox demo event for the entire week of the 21st through the 27th. Now, this demo event is actually very interesting and unique for that matter. See, what they're doing is engaging the community by allowing them to play game demos on their Xbox One that would otherwise only be playable at events like E3. This, however, means that you will be playing games that are very early versions and in some cases not even close to being ready to release to the public. So do keep that in mind, that these demos may not be polished and they're not final versions. This really is trying to replicate what it feels like to play these games at an event on the stage floor. That's a really good idea, honestly, and there is going to be a ton of demos to check out. They are saying it will end up being between 75 to 100 games that you can download and play from the comfort of your home. That is just incredible, and if this turns out well, I could easily see this type of stuff happening in the future, and not just for Xbox, but for the entire industry. This sounds like the perfect way to replace something as big as E3. However, back to the big Xbox Series X event that is currently planned for July 23rd. The Video Game Chronicles is reporting that the initiative will be showing their first ever game. Now, this has been rumored for quite a while now, and a lot of people think it's going to be a new Perfect Dark. But it's nice that we are getting confirmation that the initiative really will be showing their new game there. For a long time, fans was not expecting them to show a new game this early on, and many had them talking about their game in 2021 or 22. But they're already prepared, and they have an extremely talented team. Daryl Gallagher is the head of the studio, which worked on the Tomb Raider reboots, and they have several former Naughty Dog employees, developers who has worked on God of War, and even employees from Rockstar. This really is an all-star team that they put together, so I am very excited to see what they have been working on. I don't know if it's a new Perfect Dark per se, but I would love that. If it is a new IP though, I would be okay with that as well. Of course, Halo Infinite will also be there, probably Hellblade 2 and maybe Project Mara. We haven't really seen anything from those games just yet, so I wouldn't be surprised if they show up there as well. Then you have Rare, which has Everwild, and we know that Double Fine, Obsidian Entertainment, and inXile are all working on unannounced AAA games, so maybe they show up there too. In fact, there are some reports of inXile being fully prepared for their big unannounced AAA action RPG, though I honestly don't think that they're going to show it here. I think they're not going to reveal whatever that game is until Wastelands 3 releases in August. Nonetheless, the event definitely sounds very exciting so far. I will ask you though, give me your dream announcement for this big event. Post it in the comments below. We are not done though, because yes, Xbox did also announce the first wave of Xbox Game Pass games for the month of July, and as usual we have more great games to play. If you have Game Pass, you will get Crosscode, Soul Calibur 6, Fallout 76, and Out of the Park Baseball 21. The picture on the screen does show what platform each is available on. But not only is one of the best fighting games coming to Game Pass this month, Soul Calibur 6, but we will also get a fan favorite independent game, Crosscode. I think a lot of people don't know what that game is, but fans who have played this game absolutely love it, and it has an 86 on Metacritic. A lot of people compare it to games like Zelda and Trials of Mana. It apparently has like 30 hours of gameplay, and it's a big hit over on Steam. This is the first time it's coming to consoles though, and looks like it's going to launch right into Xbox Game Pass. You have to love it. Xbox Game Pass just continues to be a brilliant service. And here's something really interesting. Descenders has apparently been selling 5 times as much as they previously did since entering Xbox Game Pass. That is very impressive and goes to show you the power of Xbox Game Pass. On to our last topic though, Nintendo may try to find a different, better way to reveal new information, rather than doing Nintendo Directs. And I know that sounds terrible at first because we all do love Nintendo Directs. Nintendo pretty much does the best digital events currently, and they have been doing this for years, but this is what Nintendo had to say. We feel Nintendo Directs are an incredibly effective way to present information directly to our customers in a very straightforward way. Inversely, times change and so does the most effective way to promote products, so there is a chance that a new, better way to present this information comes about. So we always like to examine all of the possible ways to communicate this information to customers. And there you have it. It does sound like Nintendo is trying to prepare for a better route than Nintendo Direct. Now this doesn't necessarily mean that they are leaving Directs completely behind, but they may be exploring other ideas. And truthfully, I think the reason they're saying this right now is because of the worldwide situation where they have had trouble putting a Direct together here recently. I've even heard that they're not going to do a new Direct at all this summer, and likely will just do random announcements like they did with Paper Mario. That may not be as exciting with just one announcement after the other like Nintendo Directs do, but at the end of the day, I trust Nintendo will figure something out. Nintendo Directs will likely continue once things go back to normal, but we are in a situation where everybody has to explore new and creative ideas. If anybody can pull it off though, it would definitely be Nintendo. Anyways though, that's it for this episode, but if you liked the video, don't forget to bell notification and subscribe button for more content just like this. Peace out.